Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux, open source, anything else we find interesting. So sit back, relax, crack open an adult. Don't do that. Don't crack open adults. Crack up as an adult if you're an adult.
Yes. Make them laugh. Don't hurt them then.
I don't know. I mean, after you've put your adult in its upright position, that's a brilliant thing to do. Jill, we had some fun last night trying to go around tracks.
Yes.
It's always interesting. Did you crash a lot? I crashed a lot.
Yeah, I did, especially with the last few tracks that were a lot harder.
Oh, yeah.
and the one with the loop where you had to make a right-hand turn. that was but I actually started doing that one pretty well, so I got around the loop just fine.
I don't know where I'm at on that particular. Oh, and we had Rohit join us because Rohit went to a coffee shop with his Steam Deck to play Trackmania with us to practice, which was, I was debating one. I was like, if I bought a Steam Deck, I would have to go out somewhere and be like, look, everyone, I have the thing. And I already made a promise to myself, if I see somebody in the wild with a Steam Deck, I'm going to walk right up to them and ask them about their Atari Lynx. I am. And see
Very good.
So you've been getting prepared for that wacky thing you kids do at SoCal, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm starting to prepare my Linux Chick-fil-A booth for the Southern California Linux Expo on July 28th through July 31st. I have a lot to prepare, so I always start several months ahead of time. And we'll have some LGC activities, and I know, I think Empty is coming, so that will be great. And I will have so much going on. I've got my crew from Destination Linux also coming, so there's a lot of things going on.
What about the flamethrowers?
It's going to be wonderful. No flamethrowers. There are safety cones, though, in the form of VLC. They will help guard you from the flames, I guess.
You can put the safety cones over the flamethrowers. It'll be much easier to sneak in.
Yes, very true.
Couple of things going on here. Couple of things. The DAW is running kernel 5.17. I compiled that earlier this week because I was kind of curious. Really, there's no big announcements in 5.17, but I just wanted to make sure everything works. All the ALSA stuff for my control surfaces. Good report. Happy to see that. And I always remind everyone, if you get a chance, if you are a Twitch sub or a patron, you have access to our Trackmania server, which we're going to be practicing on, all of us, until Friday. Because there's some challenging maps in there. There's some fun maps. And again, it's arcade racing. We do this because we're getting a little bit older and we like to stay a little competitive, but we also like to have fun. And that game will tax you in ways that you don't realize, but that's only if you let it.
Yeah,
and you got to watch out. You got to watch out for people who start out with like, yeah, this is fun. This is like bouncing around. It's like Hot Wheels. Then we got Phil. Phil's been my favorite person to watch so far because Phil practices.
He's good.
He's getting there.
Yeah.
He started from like smashing into quarters and falling off loops. Like Phil's finishing in the top 3 sometimes now. So
I know, he's amazing.
Warms my heart to see people putting that.
Hey, I've been happy. I even finished second on one of the maps on Friday. So it's like, that's a big deal for me.
Look at you. You went from like, man, you were struggling to finish a track. Now we just assume you're going to finish the track. You're going to finish it. Yeah. Now you move on to like, now let's start moving up that ladder a little bit. Yeah. So it's cool. Fun. We'll be doing that live Friday with everyone else, and I'm giving out free games. I got a big chunk of new games to hand out for the top 3 spaces. Plus, we got a kind of like a little Joker thing set up, where I think if you finish in 7th or 8th, you get a chunk of bonus points just to help balance it out. So you don't want to be last. And oh, right. We were talking about that in the pre-show. I got a thing I'm very excited about for everyone who is doing podcasting and streaming. Should be showing up in my house tomorrow. I'm do a video on it. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm dancing around it, but kind of the question with this is you can't buy it. How did you get it? Because I tried to buy it and I couldn't, but I had a notification and somebody returned one because they made like 8 of them. when our trying supply issue times. But stay tuned for that. I will definitely get that up and posted. Probably, it's going to be for next month. So there's your teaser. It's red. How about that? It's red.
It's red. Appropriate for Linux Gamecast. It matches LWW, lower and upper thirds.
I still got to do the joke. Where I take one piece of equipment and another red piece of audio equipment and be like, it helps, it makes it sound better. You want to color coordinate your audio equipment, because somebody will go, yeah, okay, that's what it'll be an audio file. Who knows? Stay tuned for it, though. Let's get into it. GNOME 42 is kind of almost out. It's here, sort of.
Yes. Yeah, so GNOME 42 has been released, and it has lots of new features and many enhancements, smaller improvements, and a lot faster in performance. Woohoo! I've been looking forward to that. And so GNOME 42 is actually the first version of GNOME to put library Adwada at its core. That's awesome. And this updated toolkit brings a fresh new look, new widgets, and better performance, which is awesome. And because of the library Adwada integration, something we have waited quite a while for is now here. There is a new global dark mode, woohoo, UI style preference that has arrived in GNOME 42. And this can be used to request that apps use a dark UI style instead of light. And it can be found in the new Appearance panel in the Settings app. But not only does it switch the UI to dark, it switches the wallpapers as well to a dark style. So that's really convenient and very forward-thinking. That's really cool. And there are actually 2 new default apps. There's a new text editor. It's a completely new one, written from the ground up, and a new console terminal. So that's cool too. And the GNOME browser, which was formerly called Epiphany, now enables hardware-accelerated rendering on all websites. Ooh, that is going to be fun to play with, because I do love the GNOME browser because it's always been very nimble and fast, and that will even make it faster. There's just so much in this release, Ben.
There's a couple of things in this. One of the things that caught my eye is having the built-in screen grabber, like native to GNOME. You smash that print screen button, fam, and you're going to get, boom. You're also going to get options, pick and select, which is good. And I say that because there's not a lot of people who really need to do a lot of screen capturing, but when you do, I end up having to do that quite a bit. That's a handy thing to have built in. Plus, it even does video. That's another thing. If you want to record your desktop,
that's really
as well,
exciting. That's
going to be built into GNOME. It's good on the GNOME development team for that. They've also, did an update for the screen sharing in GNOME 42. So it's going to be using RDP instead of VNC. That's neat. That's neat. And a lot of apps have been ported to GTK4, which means
yay,
I can't play it with them because I'm on Debian 11.
Yeah, true. And a couple other enhancements is that the GNOME's virtual machine app boxes, which I use a lot all the time for virtualization. It's one of the best virtualization apps out there. It has a redesigned preferences view and has better support for modern UEFI operating systems, which is really cool. You know what? That boxes is really great to get new users into using virtualization software. It's one of the easiest out there. Literally just a few clicks of the mouse to get your ISO running. And I want to thank Arthur, once again, our advisor in chat, for posting this to our show suggestions.
Well,
Arthur, he posted it the hour the release came out. So.
He loves GNOME with the nice rounded corners and all that.
Yes.
I guess we do need to make a note. If you want to play with GNOME right now, I think the latest Fedora.
OpenSUSE.
Fedora. Well, if you need a real operating system, Joe, Fedora. I'm picking at you, everyone on the Gecko team. The beta released yesterday, which you can go play with as well.
Yeah, true. And there is also the official Gnome ISO for testing and playing around with it. But yeah, it's not going to land in the Arch repository or the official, the stable Fedora repository for another few weeks.
Where I'm excited, it's not necessarily GNOME itself, but GTK4 will allow for hardware acceleration, which things get interesting there. That's what I'm keeping my eye on, my good eye. And just good work all around. But some people are quite displeased with the GNOME team. And
yeah.
Is it Adwata? Did we say Adwata?
Yeah, that's what I
Adwaita?
say is Adwata or library Adwata.
Gnome? Is it Gnome or Gnome? I'm like, we've been over this with GIFs.
Yes. The company actually says Gnome.
Go to the zoo and look at my giraffes.
Yeah, I know. GIF or GIF. There we go.
Gnome or Gnome. The end of the nice GTK button from Mr. Bram. He kind of walks through and he's been using GTK3 for a while. And guess what? They've changed some things with GTK4. He's a little displeased with it. And my first thought was like, do you ever just have like a favorite button? I don't, but this guy does. I appreciate stuff like this because it is completely lost on me when I look at design themes and stuff like that.
UI.
I'm raw functionality. Like I will do it from a command line if it's quicker. But yeah, he not really loving the new libadwaita theme, and he dared voice his displeasure with this, and he was immediately shut down. You don't disagree with the GNOME hive mind. The internet is sort of but he's got some good points. Everything in the new themes is flat, thanks Microsoft, compared to what? Oh, I mean, do you want to bring back skeuomorphic design? You remember that? When everything had a physical item attached? Let's go Full Metal Bob again. Let's put stuff on bookshelves in the background of, your library.
Microsoft Bob, yes.
Man, but yeah, blood for the blood gods. So welcome to the brave new world of GTK4. I mean, the dude's really against libadwaita on mobile more than he is on desktop. And, just things like, hey, the new dark theme is just flipping it around, which I know somebody can tell the difference, but I thought that's what dark themes did. I'm not terribly displeased with that. But all of this is going to be in the show notes if you want to go back over for it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to achieve some level of anger here, but I'm the wrong person to do it, Jill, because even if I split, I'm like, it kind of looks the same. Maybe.
It is quite different, actually. And I personally love the new Adwata theme and that it is more minimal and modern. But the developer, Martin, just doesn't like it. He likes the buttons that stand out and that have the nice curvy outline around them. And I understand that because I still like those too. And he actually has a really great point about library Adwata being a huge decrease in accessibility. That is actually very true. The buttons in the header bar look the same as titles now, and that actually makes it harder to visually see. And I've noticed that myself a little bit. So that is very, very true. It's definitely the visual cues aren't there as well, but I like it and I'm used to it, so it doesn't bother me.
It is evolution. There's always the argument if you have a bunch of designers whose job is to design, you leave them alone. What are they going to do? They're going to design. How do you do that? You change stuff. Not always for the better.
Yeah.
Though. Sometimes it's good to have like, okay, this is good. And I'm like, well, we could enhance it. The flat design never really bothered me. So again, I'm the wrong person. If you give me something, I grew up, we've basically been alive and using computers throughout all of UI's incarnations. So
yes, absolutely.
I've seen it from the days of
CDE.
Yeah.
It makes me happy. Yeah.
I mean, it works. Oh, a button? How fancy. Click. I don't feel entitled enough to go with that button needs to be pretty because it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, button, I'm happy. Look, I'm content. I'm easy to please. But buttons are a thing of the past, Joe. We're going to be swiping on everything left and right like we do on our mobile devices.
Talk about something new and progressive. The upcoming release of KDE Plasma 5.25 in June will have a new touchscreen swiping feature that is even nicer than the one in Windows 11. Users of KDE Plasma 5.25 with touchscreen devices will be able to enter their tasks and virtual desktops overview by simply swiping down from the top edge. But there is something cooler than just a standard swipe. Swiping down from the top edge is actually really beautiful and fluid because the tasks and virtual overviews follows the path of the finger and changes size. So that's pretty sweet. That's really progressive use of a swipe, and you don't have to do a three-fingered swipe like you do on Windows 11.
Three-fingered is ridiculous. What's wrong with the old two fingers and one pinky toe, like a normal person?
Yeah, one pinky toe. I personally don't like swiping gestures that have more than one finger. It's just always kind of bothered me. I'm used to it, and I do it on my phone and other, I've used it in Ubuntu and other, and Gnome and other OSs before, but I personally just like one finger for all the
Here's
things.
Exactly where I'm at with like multi-finger. I accidentally discover them sometimes because I'm aware these things exist, but I don't experiment with things like, that did a thing. That's kind of interesting. Now, when I see the swiping for the audio listeners, they're demonstrating a video with a 2 pull down. And all I'm thinking of is like, I will slap your hand if you get your fingers anywhere near my monitors. I don't know why people do that. People want to touch stuff, especially people whose primary computing devices or their mobile devices. And this happens way too many times. And I don't do it to injure anyone, but they'll start reaching for like, no, don't do that. I don't like cleaning things off the screen.
Yeah, when I'm on my computer, it's not something. I have some touch screens, in here in my computer room, and I never use the touch features because when I'm on a computer, I'm using mouse and keyboard, or gerbil and keyboard, as it were.
Yeah.
And I never use the touchscreen. I use the touchscreen on my phone and my tablets, but not my other devices.
Just take my trackball and rub it on the monitor.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, this is not the only thing in the upcoming version of, this week in KDE. There's some user interface improvements, which harkens back to, I guess, again, a bar that shows disk usage level inside of Dolphin. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And let's go through some little cycles here. Battery and brightness. These are things this is like way too fancy for me. This is all I'm trying to convey to people. I'm like, wow, it's good to know that all of these options do exist. But I did see one that kind of made me laugh a little bit because this was a use case and KDE fixed it. Apparently when you were running Plasma Wayland session, hang on, we got to add a difficulty multiplier in a VM, as one does these days. Clicking on something would, cause it to be off by like 1 pixel. So they fixed that. It was just like slightly offset. And I would never think of even trying to like get Wayland up and running. I guess that's possible. That is awesome. That is neat. KDE is quite pretty these days, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful. K-Win for the win. It's the most beautiful desktop in Linux. I really think it is. And they've added so many beautiful features. And now that they've fixed all the bugs and the crashing issues, it's just a sweet desktop. And the Plasma Mobile is also a beautiful OS. And they are bringing a lot of that sleekness and the great touch control to the KDE desktop proper, which is really awesome.
This is true. And you're going to be able to play with this in Plasma 5.25. More's in the pipeline, including finger-following touchpad gestures. And that sounds both entertaining and dangerous. I look forward to it. Good news, everyone. There's a new version of Debian out. Kinda.
Woohoo!
Really short mentioning I've installed it on all the boxes in the studio. 11.3. This came out on March 26, and they're pleased to announce the update of the stable distribution, codename Bullseye, which is the boring kind of Linux but it's the good kind of Linux. A bunch of security
Yes.
updates. Nothing in here that was crazy. I did not hit a single hitch upgrading to my current version of Debian 11 installs on the 5 boxes inside of this little studio that I've set up. So yeah, just to mention, it's there. So next time you go to do your apt update, it's going to, hey, repository names have changed. You want to update them? And of course you do, because security updates.
Yeah.
Welcome to Debian. I try to convey this. If you need to set up a production box with a reasonable lifespan that is going to stay, we're not talking like Cent stuff like this or Rocky, where it's going to be like locked into this particular software stack for the next 10 years, but something that's going to change every 3 to 5 years. Debian's a great place to be. No moving parts under it. Once you get something up and working, all you're going to be getting is these nice little security updates. So you don't have to pick and choose. This is, one of the good things about rolling distributions. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Like Arch is you're always getting the latest and greatest to play with. But once you get like an entire system, then it's just not, it could be related to different software versions and packages and libraries that get installed, which are not compatible with thing Y. And that's why I run it here. Debian's a great base to have everything on, because I don't have to pick and choose. Of course, I have a sacrificial box. I'm like, I'm going to install it on this one. Did you break? No. Okay, then I'll start rolling.
There you go.
So, they fixed the Clam AV thing?
Yeah, they fixed Clam AV has a new upstream stable release, which fixed a denial of service issue, which was kind of big. I had heard a lot of people talking about that. And there are some other major security fixes, including more Intel microcode mitigation security issues. And one of the biggest ones here is it fixed several Apache Log4j2 vulnerabilities and remote code execution and security issues that were found in December. So they've been continually updating and fixing those issues. So good for you, Debian, on top of it, as always.
This is good. Always good. And you know what? Hopefully I reminded you, because just talking about this right now is like, I need to update our Jitsi server and our Trackmania server. And I'll do that after the show.
Oh, okay. One of the many things you got to do today.
It's one of those days, This is like one of those days where I know this day is going to end at 4:40, 4:50 in the morning. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Fun times. Now, I got to assume everybody listening to me has run Ubuntu at some point in your life on your Linux journey. In fact, you might be running it right now. That's awesome. You got to pick what works with you. But maybe, you could traditionally just run like an Ubuntu LTS, which kind of similar to Debian is going to be very static for a long time. If you want to live a little, you can run the current release. It's going to get updated more frequently. If you really like to party, you can run development branch. And, it's kind of like on Fedora, you can run Rawhide. And, everybody's got like in Debian's got testing or
SID.
It gets crazier and crazier with Debian. I mean, Debian can keep up with Arch if you want to run the YOLO branch. But maybe you wanted to live that YOLO lifestyle with something, a little more tame, like Ubuntu. Well, now you can. We're talking about rolling rhinos, which sounds delightfully dangerous, but it's reasonably easy to set up. This comes from hothardware.com. Just walking through what is involved with this, because this is all, it's going to be pulling development packages from the development repo, which is good. The stuff that's kind of in testing. Then they got a thing called Rhino update. It's going to show up and it's going to pull things that are not in the dev branch, the traditional one. So, you're really going to be living on the edge. Now it is available as an ISO where you just kind of plug it into the system, but there's something you need to know. Something you need to know about the rolling
very
Rhino.
Important.
Yeah. Do not use aptitude first when setting this up, because it will override your capability of like running Rhino init. Yeah. Or the Rhino update. So it just won't work at all. I think that's something they might want to address, but I had not heard about running a rolling. And I'm curious if somebody wants to try this and write into the show and let us know what their experiences are, because usually, am I alone? When I think rolling a release, I immediately just go to Arch. I'm like, yeah, if I want to do that, I'm just going to, install I'll install 3 Arches. No, but it's relatively easy to set up. I thought it was kind of interesting. If you want the latest and greatest from Canonical, now we will point out completely not affiliated. It's not, don't call up Canonical like, hey, I got a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you do record it. Yeah, they could just laugh at you. And I'm like, yeah, don't. So if you're familiar with rolling releases and you want to play around with the latest and greatest, but you're comfortable in that Ubuntu environment.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, go check out Rolling Rhino.
Yeah, this is really nice instead of having to wait for, Ubuntu's slower release cycle, which, yes, they are slow, a bit like Debian, but that makes it wonderful and stable at the same time. So. It does.
I would call LTSs from Ubuntu slow. Debian is glacial sometimes, but
yeah, Debian is more glacial. Yeah, and if you get the Ubuntu, the newer releases, they might be a little behind, but they update that much more frequently. I use Ubuntu LTS here on my broadcasting rig because I love the stability. It just works.
It's almost as good as Debian. I love it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, it should be. It's based on Debian.
And I can put Debian 11 on my vintage computers, which makes me happy.
You absolutely can.
Yeah. It's got 32-bit support.
Fair. All right. We got one little slice of pie before we bounce out of here, but we need to thank some new people, or a new person who's become a patron, helping support the show directly over at patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. I got a gang of things, little bonus trinkets, that little mysterious device I was talking about at the beginning of the show. You lot are going to get first crack at that. At least you're going to get some pictures of it tomorrow, probably. Like, hey, this is a thing I'm going to be playing with. But you like this show? We got it in podcast format, not just what you're listening to right now. We got the beginning, the middle, and end in the live and uncut series it's produced. So if you missed the live stream, go back and listen to it. Maybe you don't want to listen to it. I'll give you a video on top of that. Now, how much would you pay? 4 quarters a week. That's what we're asking. We stack that together to get equipment, better the show. We host all of our stuff. We don't do ads, and trying to give you the best experience possible. Now, Joe Bryant, we have a new patron who has joined us at a sea monster level of about True Fitter.
That's really awesome. His name is, or her name, Hakeem Moss. Thank you so much. That's awesome. And I look forward to talking to you in chat. So that'll be cool.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. We have Discord. If you are a Twitch subscriber or a patron, you can get access to our super secret, ultra private Discord, which is neither of those things, but that's where we're at the other 6 days of the week, having conversations that are not entirely 100% Linux based. I think throws people off sometimes because we're all over the place with all types of things. But for our live shows, IRC, Twitch, and Discord are all tied together with our chatbot.
Yay.
So there is no paywalls to get that communication. You can always shoot in an email or anything like that if you would like to chat. Also, other ways to support us, head over to our website, like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Support tabs. We got merch. We got wish list. And there we go. There's our commercial.
Yay.
Because we need to save up. We need to save up to buy something that I think everyone would enjoy. Watching Jill eat. And that's a slice of pie. With
fish sticks on it. Doesn't sound too enticing.
Come on, man.
I think I would prefer. I've had salmon on my pizza pie before, a Japanese pizza pie, and that is very good. Smoked salmon on a pizza is good.
See, so that's what
I might give this a try.
We got a nice little Nutri-Score. It's limited edition pizza. Come on. Yeah. It's the original Captain Iglo. But you see that nutrition score, you look at it, it's a B. That's way too high for Jill. She wants something a little closer to E, so it needs some sprinkles on it. Maybe.
Yeah, that's got a lot of salt in it. So it sure does.
Too much stuff on that. It's not made of candy. I don't think I want to tingle with it.
Yeah, it looks like it's on top of a bed of cheese and broccoli pizza, which I do like.
This week's slice of pie is a pinball machine. Pinball wizards. Do you like pinball? Do you ever like?
I love pinball. I grew up playing in the arcades in the 70s and the 80s.
I've never of course you played pinball. I've played pinball. I've had friends that were addicted and like they go to pinball tournaments.
Yeah.
That's next level. They own pinball machines, which are ludicrously expensive.
Very much so. And the maintenance is
for just like one that's kind of clapped out like $5,000. Like, ooh, maybe not, but maybe you like playing pinball at home. And I don't mind it. I can play it. It is a game of skill. There's some RNG in it, but there's definitely some skill. If you wanted to build a nice little portable unit, you might want to use a Raspberry Pi. And that's what Chris did. And I almost called you Chris Dalek, but it's not. It's Dalek.
Dalek.
Yeah. So, as one does, you're sitting around the house. This is another reason I probably shouldn't own a laser cutter. I need something to cut with my lasers. And that's exactly what he did. Now, you're going to need a couple of things if you want to set one of these up at home for your, little personal pinball machine. You're going to need long, throwy, clicky buttons. Chris is doing it right. And you're also going to need a Raspberry Pi and a 7-inch touchscreen and a little bit of software that he wrote. Did I mention the Arduino?
Yeah.
You're going to need one of those, possibly some LED matrix panels if you want to get fancy with it. And if you're wondering about that application, the pinball application, it's C++ and OpenGL. Yeah, you're right.
OpenGL, yeah.
Used Raylib. That's what he did to make it work. And, this is pretty slick. This is just pretty slick. That's why I wanted to give it a mention. And, get nice little tracers on the balls. It beeps, it boops. It's got scores in the background. I'm happy to see that. Oh, look, you can even enter a high score. Look at that.
Yes. And it looks like it's so tactile, with the buttons. When you click the buttons, the reaction on the screen with the program is immediate. Very well done. And he was focusing on that to make it feel like a real pinball machine from the 70s in the arcade.
People want
and it's even got the scoreboard and everything. Yeah.
Look at that. This is he an Yep. Okay. Yep. Engineer. It's like this is too well put together for a YouTuber. No offense to anyone who is a YouTuber. This looks
very sweet.
Well done. And this just makes me want to really buy a laser cutter, which I'm still never going to do because I don't want to.
Yeah, I want one too. Yeah.
Pretty good. That's your slice of pie. Maybe you want to tell us about what you got going on in your life, your Linux-powered stories, adventures, open source, anything remotely related. We'd love to hear about it. You can do that over at linuxgamecast.com. We got a contact button. Leave a comment on this video. Jill will probably get back to you before I do. She's quick about that. She's like, what's up?
Yeah.
Man. But that's going to do it for episode 320. Jill, we got to bounce out of here. So how about we roll some credits?
Yeah, we thank some of our patrons. And
That's
I'm
the
going
wrong
to thank a lot
song,
of people.
Jill. How dare.
Oh, I'm going to thank people in chat. We got Daisy Bobs.
We'll get it in a minute.
We got Artherin, otherwise known as Candolph the Crete, right now.
There's no credits running right now, so give me a second.
Yeah, there isn't. I'm going to do it anyways. No.
You see, the thing is like Jill's got them written down, so to give the appearance that she's reading them off.
Yeah. And we got Esteban Husbando, otherwise known as Steve Husband, who is my husband. We've got DeCresney. Oh, boy. We've got M. Maver in chat. So many awesome people. We have Dawn M. Yay!
I want to thank everybody making our show possible. Showing up each and every week. And you just check it in live. We do thank you for retweeting and doing all the social media stuff, man. We don't really have a team for that. So I appreciate it. I really do. All the gang of our cheerlings. Come say hi to us.
Ringing that bell, fam.
Wherever you may be. We'll check you out next week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What is that? Is that binoculars?
That's a heart.
Binoculars.